Peter Palmiotti, an inker and comic book artist, very accomplished. You've got a Kickstarter coming out for End of Day Scorched Earth. Welcome, Peter. So can you tell us about Scorched Earth?
The inker on the project, it's Atomic Ink Comics with an X, is the publisher. With nuclear war erupting and a population decimated, Alex Hadfield will do anything it takes to find his family or die trying. There's a lot of mutants in this reality. You know, he was in suspended animation out in space, and he's just trying to go back there and find his family. I'm not sure how much of the first issue covers, you know, that kind of story, but I believe it gives a good intro to it. And it's essentially, you know, if this is successful, the Kickstarter, it will be an ongoing thing, which we're really hoping it will take off. You know, it's hard to just create a book and get people's eyes on it, and you know, especially with Kickstarter, get them pledging.
Yeah.
But it's John Medeiros, there you go. Barry McLean is the penciler, who actually I met a while ago on DeviantArt. He was like, hey, can you check out my work? And he was very polite but insistent. Mm-hmm. And I finally did find time and went to his DeviantArt and was really impressed with the quality of his work. And I saw, you know, I followed him on Facebook, and the guy just, you know, he's got multiple projects. I think he's got 6 projects currently he's working on. He does not quit. You know, he's turning out pages left and right, doing pinups, and looking for more projects to jump onto.
Well, Jim, I think you could put him to work, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Then J. Primus Dickerson is the colorist, doing some good work, and you know, samples of all our work are on the Kickstarter right now.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the cover, right?
Right.
Is that the cover of a? Oh, go ahead.
It's an alternate cover done by a art team duo, Alvarez and Blanco, and so our cover will be coming up soon. I'll be finished with the inks on that and getting into the colorist. But you know, like a lot of Kickstarters do, you know, alternate covers, multiple covers. We'll have 2,
right?
And yeah, it's just a regular issue, first issue. Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
You know, great team I'm working with. Everybody's, you know, trying to promote it and trying to get the word out. And there's all sorts of rewards, different levels and such. So we're really, really hoping to get the word out and
good.
Get people excited.
Now I'm just browsing through the artwork on it, and it's incredible. And you know, you're a top-notch artist, so I'm not surprised.
Thanks.
How much? What percentage do you have done? I mean, you got quite a bit just posted on the Kickstarter page.
Let's see. I think I did 7 pages, and I'm working on the cover, and I got another page here to work on. You know, we'll sort of have it done next month, I guess.
Okay.
Is what we're looking at. You know, we do need to get it funded in order to do that.
Right.
You know, I'm basically full-time freelance, so I need to make a living.
Right.
But you know, because John put a certain amount of money out of his pocket, and the Kickstarter will cover the rest.
Okay.
But you know, that's the challenge of things. You know, just to finance everything.
Yeah.
But this is John's actual third Kickstarter. The first one wasn't successful, but he reposted it, changed a little bit of the money level, and maybe added some pledges. And in the second one was successful, and that was the Reaver, I think. And then this one he's doing, and we're 100% behind it and just trying to make it happen.
Awesome. Now, while we got Jim here,
yes,
Jim.
Yes, sir.
You told me you have a ton of material written. Would you ever consider, like, I know you're collaborating with Bill Plimpton.
Mm-hmm.
What about like something like what Peter's doing? Would you consider doing? I mean, are you just protective of your little babies?
No, not at all. No, you mean like have somebody else draw it?
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I would totally hand something over.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see it come to life.
Yeah, no, I think that normally though, and Peter, you probably could back this up. Normally, if somebody is an artist and they're going to put the time into drawing something, it's either one of two things. Either they'll do their own stuff, or two, they want a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I would.
You know what? Actually, when I started for my graphic novels, I asked this guy Tim Broderick, who had done a couple of graphic novels, do you have anything written that I could draw? And he said, no, you write it. You can write it, and you draw it. And I thought, no, well, that's why I'm asking you. But he said, no, you write it, because you want to work on what you want to spend your time, work on what you want to work on. So then that's what I did. And
I did an art for one project that somebody else wrote, but we were sharing the whatever. This guy David Hopkins wrote it, and then I drew it, and it was so much fun. Hey, the Tim Broderick that you referring to, where's he from? Do you know?
Chicago.
Oh, okay, it's a different. I know another Broderick.
Pat Broderick, I know, like in comics.
You know Tim Broderick?
Isn't? No, I know Pat Broderick. Was a penciler. Did some work for Marvel.
Okay.
I know it's him. There you go.
But he's a great writer, like mystery type kind of. Anyway, yeah, he's kind of what inspired me to do my first graphic novel, or my graphic novels. So.
Hashtag Tim Broderick.
Tim Broderick, check him out. All right, cool. Hey, so can you tell me about the live art casts that you guys do, the working sessions?
Yeah,
because I haven't had a chance to really watch one yet, and I know that I can view them. I don't have to view them live, right?
Right. Yeah, you can watch them anytime. It's on my channel. I do them. A bunch of other people do them. It really started from Jeff Lafferty. Well, it's like an extension of Kevin Cross and Jeff Lafferty. Kevin Cross did 100 Days of Making Comics, which is a 100-day comic challenge. And I showed that to Jeff, and Jeff started doing what he calls an Artcast. He's up to 170 episodes already. He started a Facebook group called the Artcasters, which was originally YouTube artists, and now it's just open to everybody. But I was thinking, like, he made me like his right-hand man in the group,
right?
And I was like, well, I got to do something other than just be in the group. I want to bring the group together, like make it more than just another of the thousands of groups on Facebook.
Right.
And I thought of doing like an Artcast hangout.
Right.
I did something called Studio Synergy, like probably a year before that, a couple of episodes of that, and that was just me getting together a bunch of my friends, and we were talking about comics and movies and art and business and everything else. And while we were working, or like I was hosting it, so I was talking and dealing with online stuff and whatnot, but a bunch of them were working as we did them. And so, like, when I, thought of doing it for the Rcast, it's the same thing. It's hanging out and working, and it's whoever we can pull in. A lot of, it's hard to juggle. It's people from all around the world, different time zones, different schedules. A lot of artists, some work full time, some, have full-time day jobs, and they do it in comics or art or whatever in the evening. So it's hard to schedule everybody in. But I just, we used to do it originally on G+, and you could sort of set up an event page and just invite a bunch of people. We do it slightly different now, where it's a live, like, comment streaming kind of thing. Right. It's actually live streaming on YouTube. Right. And it doesn't, unless I forgot, like, because YouTube and G+ are confusing, but
I can attest to that.
But you can still just invite random people or message them to tell them about it. Okay. And it's a lot of work, but it's really some really great moments happen within them. It's not a scripted show, and chaos ensues. Yeah. Sometimes, but it's a lot of fun, and you get a lot of different mix of people doing a lot of different things.
That sounds interesting.
It's
I like to draw, and my wife will come down to where my desk is, and she, I love it. It's like, sit down, hang out, and so I'm drawing. She thinks I'm ignoring her, and I'm like, I'm drawing, and I can totally engage in this conversation that we can have, but that's not for everybody.
So. Yeah, I mean, most of my career I've worked alone. It's like I work out of my house and have my art table set up, and just for hours and days and whatever, I'd be alone working. Mm-hmm. But I have been part of some studios, and you can keep your head down and work and just talk about gibberish or talk about the business, and still get a lot of work done. It's kind of inspiring at times, if you're communicating with, like, some of the people you look up to, your peers and whatnot. It forces you to, do better work.
Yeah. That's cool. Hey, I also, this isn't about your Kickstarter. It's just a general question, or just something to spur some conversation. So I have a day job, and that has to be my number one priority. And I found that when I was in college, I did freelance artwork for my job. I didn't really have a job, but I was going to college, and I did freelance artwork, and I found I wasn't disciplined enough to do it. So I always say I'm not a true artist. I mean, what would you say to somebody like me? I guess, what's the difference between? Is it just the discipline, or between doing, as a hobby and doing it as a profession?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough, and it's, I've been doing comics and art since 1991, so for a long time. Mm-hmm. 23, whatever, 25 years, I don't know. workshop, math-wise. But
it's probably 50 years. You know,
at least 50 years.
Yeah. No, I'm saying because you work twice as much as you know.
Oh yeah.
I know that you guys work a lot.
But I'd say, like, first of all, working for yourself is the hardest thing. You know, I've been in situations where I was working, you know, like when I was working for Mall in DC, that was a little easier. You know, you have an editor and a boss who will, like, call you every week and maybe sometimes a couple of times a week just to catch up on what you're doing. That was before internet, you know.
Right.
But you know, like somebody who's breathing down your neck, and that's like real good motivation. Also, a good paycheck is real good motivation.
Right.
Especially if you're doing this full time, you're gonna make sure you get that paycheck.
Right.
Otherwise, you can't pay your bills. But just doing your own projects is very difficult sometimes to just wake up and get to work.
Right.
And don't think, you know, even the most professional person, don't think they're like, you know, it's easy for them.
Right.
Because it's not really easy for anyone.
Right.
They may not talk about it, but you just got to find multiple ways that get you in the chair and working. Whether it's you're motivated by money or the craft or, you know, getting a project done, you know, everything and anything, you know.
Right.
Part of the reason, like, why we're doing these, like, Orchestra Hangouts and doing them more and more is because we're able to hang out with our friends talking about, like, what we're doing or talking about nonsense, but we don't feel alone as much.
Yeah.
And that's really helpful.
A little anecdote about that. So I had the Beige Planet podcast. It's where my friend Al and I get together and we interview artists. And so, you know, I lined up all these guys, Jim and different artists, and we had them on, and I was getting ready to line up this other guy, and Al says, "Man, what about music? That's, you know, can we interview some people about music?" And I'm like, "Yes." Well, then I found that it was really hard to line up a guest, a musical guest. And I thought, you know, people that do art want somebody to talk to, you know, because you're at your table drawing alone so much, you know. If somebody wants to talk to you, yes, I'll talk. I got lots of things to say. Musicians, you know, they got people all around, you know, so you know they don't need to take a half hour to, you know, spend to talk to somebody they don't know, you know. So yeah, we had so many art guests, but it was hard to line up a musical guest. But anyway,
yes, that's funny. I mean, you know, back when I started, you know, it's like you meet people in comic stores you can talk with. You meet people at comic conventions, but that was limited. There was a lot less available. Now, you know, there's online. You can chat with people all the time, but it's not the same. You can't get work done if you're typing. You know?
Right. Yeah. But the Hangouts is cool. Jim was really intrigued by my big screw up Friday. But I told him, you know, I was like, yeah, eventually I was broadcasting Jim's living room, you know, it's Jim's place. But he was real intrigued by the idea of, you know, doing some sort of cartoon variety show or something live, you know.
Yeah.
It's cool.
You got to figure that out.
Yeah.
You got to nail that down.
Yeah, well, maybe Jim will figure it out. But, yeah. All right, so back to the artist, Peter Palmiotti. So you got the Kickstarter, which this artwork is great. You're the inker?
Yeah.
This is cool. I like, you know, these aliens and zombies, and then down here at the bottom, this guy's head is blown up or something. I mean,
yeah, they're all like mutants that, like, you know, through nuclear war and whatnot, all these people were turned into mutants and stuff. And,
yeah.
So there'll be a lot of exciting adventures and a lot of weird characters along the way, I'm sure. Yeah, and, you know, for anybody who doesn't know what an inker is, you know, it's really simple. Pages are penciled, 11 by 17. This is... grab something I'm working on right now.
Oh, okay.
They're pretty big. You know, most comics are still done in this fashion, and this whole thing is all pencil to begin with, and I go in with ink. Yeah, and you know, to a degree, I'm basically copying what's there, tightening it up, embellishing, adding effects, textures, whatnot, all in black ink. And when it's printed or digitally available online, it's a lot crisper than just, you know, pencils. You know, some publishers do where, like, they'll darken the pencils and then color over that.
Yeah, and I know from practice, you know, trying out inking somebody else's pencils, or, you know, penciling a page, the inker is just as good as the penciler. Inking is not tracing. Inking is a skill as in and of itself. Just for anybody that doesn't know, I think most artists probably know, but yeah, no doubt. So, what other projects are you working on?
Well, I got a lot of things going on. I mean, I did something for a book called Soul Star. I just inked one page of that, and I'm going to be penciling and inking a pin-up for that. That's book 2. You know, book 1 came out a few years ago, I believe, and this is book 2. That's for brain aneurysm charity, and everything worked on, you know, all the art is donated to the book, and all, you know, everything is sold. The artwork and the book itself, you know, a certain big percentage of that goes to the charity. So it's totally worthwhile. So that will be a Kickstarter down the line. I'm not exactly sure when, but I did a little bit on that. There's another thing called, I'm doing a short story called In Wolves Clothing. That will be part of a bigger anthology where all the stories are written by one writer who got different teams or different artists to do short stories. The writer, Ryan Stroh, I believe it is, he did a Kickstarter before, same thing, an anthology with different teams, and was successful on Kickstarter, so this is his second attempt at doing that. So I'm part of that. And I got other stuff. I got like a quarterly book that I'll be a part of, that is like, there's 10 pages of comic pages in the book, but most of it is written short stories.
Oh, okay.
And supposedly, like, there's a big fan base to that.
Oh, all right.
But I haven't received any pages on that, and basically I'll keep mum about that until I receive something. But so I'll be part of that. That's, you know, it comes out quarterly. It's 10 pages. It's not that much. But I'm actually pretty excited to be part of that team.
Cool.
They're also with Ryan. He's going to be doing, I think, like a 4 or 6 issue miniseries. That's sort of controversial subject.
Oh yeah.
I'll just say it's like school shootings.
Oh, okay.
And that will be in totally in comic form. I'm not sure how I think he's got a publisher, but I'm not sure if they're just going to publish it outright or maybe Kickstarter it or something. We'll see. But that will also be with Barry and me inking over his work.
So hang on, is that?
Yeah.
It's a controversial subject. Is it like? Yeah. Is it like just fiction, or is it sort of a?
Well, it's fiction, but based off of a lot. A serious subject in today's society.
Yeah.
But I think just to do a book on that is controversial.
Yeah.
I know his idea and how he addresses it. We'll see. So it could be risky. I mean, it could be a risky book to be a part of. But I'm willing to take that chance, and with a team I'm happy to work with.
Yeah.
I believe that's what I have with other people right now. Not even mentioning my own projects, which it's like I recently redesigned my studio so I'd be able to handle a lot more work.
Oh, okay.
I got like a superhero character called Retro.
Where can we find your stuff?
Well, there's some pages online like I got Bright Eyes, Neon Eden, and just the cover for a thing called Blood Rights. Those are on a website called Comic Fury. If you just go to Comic Fury and type in my name, Peter Palmiotti, like 5 pages of Bright Eyes and maybe 5 pages of Neon Eden will pop up. Those I started and stopped, but I'll be getting back to them. I want to keep up a steady schedule. Those are both my creations. Bright Eyes is sort of a bad girl road trip kind of thing. Killing spree.
Nice.
So it's adult kind of material. It's not for kids.
Right. That's always kind of a tough thing to broach on comic books, because so many people think, oh yeah, I'll share it with my kids, when it's adult oriented.
Yeah, well, I think when it comes down to it, I don't think I'm doing anything for young kids.
Why not? Why not? That's where all the money is, Peter.
Well, really? Oh man, I'm switching immediately. No, it's just I don't know. I've grown older and my tastes have changed. I'm still interested in like a lot of stuff that I grew up with.
Yeah.
But with adult flair,
Yeah. So
it's just. Really, when it comes down to it, if I'm putting in days and weeks and months and years in these projects, it's gotta be something I like.
Right.
So that's more important than anything else. But yeah, and Bright, so Bright Eyes Neon Eden. Neon Eden is like it's a story involving a lot of different characters. And government conspiracies, and where it can go is 100 different ways, and there's sort of an objective to it, but without giving anything away, just say it will be a lot of fun. But that's going to be done in strip form.
So this is on Comic Fury.
Comic Fury is a web comic host. Yeah. So there's tons and tons of webcomics on there. I think over 10,000.
Wow. Are you on Blood Rights?
Well, there's just a cover image for Blood Rights right now, but that's actually I'm working with a writer where I'll be co-writing that. It's basically his creation, but I'm helping him with the writing. There's a penciler, and I'll be inking it. It starts off silent. So
it's great. Yeah, I love this kind of artwork.
I tell you, like, I've been an inker for more years than anything else, and even though I've sort of drawn all my life, I'm still not as confident an artist as I am an inker.
Oh, really?
But you just got to jump right in, and
you're.
What I envision in my head will eventually show up on the page. But I'm happy with what I've done thus far, and it'll just get better and better over time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is great. Oh, check these out.
Yeah, and Neon Eden is, like I said, it's like a newspaper strip kind of thing. So it'd be like 3 panels or that kind of format.
I've never heard of Comic Fury, which.
Oh yeah, it's free hosting for webcomics.
Yeah.
So
I'm always looking at stuff like that, and I'm surprised I haven't come across this. This is great.
Yeah, there's that, and there's Tapastic.
Yeah, I put something up. I put mine on there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's great. I like Tapastic, but I hadn't found this. So.
Well, there's Tapastic on the time I've been on it. They went through some changes. There is a bit of a community there. But there's more of a community on Comic Fury.
Oh, really?
And it's I've met a lot of friends I have now are from there. From Comic Fury, and I think it's just really helpful. I mean, because like to befriend a bunch of these people, and especially if you. Just learning the ins and outs of the site and how to do things and set up your comic, and I'm still learning like how you letter stuff, and it's a little wonky what I've done thus far. I'm gonna fix it, but it's just like I said, it's just a matter of if you want to do a comic, then you just got to sit down and do it, and eventually you'll master the sort of things you got to learn along the way.
The same thing with the podcast.
Yeah.
This is my stuff on Tapastic right here.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, and I found it to be a nice community,
Yeah.
But I'll have to check out Comic Fury.
Tapastic is, like, that's geared for people who have phones or tablets or whatever. Everything is like viewed on there, because it has a bigger audience.
Right.
I find.
Okay.
Comic Fury is a little more like its own universe a little bit. I mean, if you do anything and put the link on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you're at, people will go there and check it out. But it is sort of like a little community of strange, children.
Hey, one last thing. So, how do you like Comixology? Are you familiar with it at all? Have you submitted?
A little bit. I mean, there's stuff up there with my name on it. I personally never put anything up there yet.
I gotcha.
It's sort of like Amazon.
Yeah.
It's eventually your stuff will be seen, but it's hard to find stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, I put one of my books out there, and I don't know how if it's sold anything. I don't know what's going on with it because they don't. But
there's no sort of I don't know too much about like the back room kind of what you see if it shows you views or likes or whatever.
Either I'm missing it, or which could very well be, Or yeah,
I mean, there should be some sort of gauge of like, you know.
Yeah. Huh.
If you're stuck with scene or not.
Yeah.
I would think.
I think they just.
I know, like on Comic Fury, you get a whole grid of you know, your views and new. What do they call it? I forget what they call it now. How many people are viewing it, and how many views. Right. So it could be like 2 people viewing 1,000 times.
Right. Yeah, like my mom, you know, watching.
Yeah. Mom, stop looking at my stuff.
Yeah. All right, Peter. Hey, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure to meet you and talk with you and